Good day, wizards, and welcome to today's lesson. In this lesson, we will focus on key features of a short story, key features of a poem, write a descriptive essay, infinite verbs, main clauses, dependent clauses, and also we will look at prefixes, suffixes, and roots. Beginning with infinite verbs, main clauses, dependent clauses. Infinite verbs are verbs which have their own subjects. They can change tense and they can be either singular or plural. For example, my friends like the outdoors. Like is an infinite verb because it has a subject, my friends. It can change to past tense, liked, and it could change to singular, my friend likes. A main clause is the part of the sentence that can stand on its own. Each main clause has its own infinite verb. The sentence, I like the country, is a main clause because it can stand on its own and makes sense. It has an infinite verb, like, and a subject, I. The subject, my brother prefers the town, is a main clause because it can stand on its own and make sense. It has an infinite verb, prefers, and a subject, my brother. Now let's look at independent clauses. An independent clause is a part of the sentence that cannot stand on its own. It still has an infinite verb, but it is a dependent verb on the main clause. My friends, who often go on long hikes, like the outdoors, who often go on long hikes is a dependent clause because although it has an infinite verb go, it does not make sense on its own. It is dependent on the main clause, my friends like the outdoors, to make sense. Key features of a short story. A short story is made up of various parts: the plot or the storyline, the characters or people in the story, the setting. This is wizards where the story takes place, and the theme or themes, known as the main ideas that take place in the story. Short stories have the same elements as a novel or much longer book, except that they are usually only a few pages long. The writer must get to the point of the story quickly to catch the reader's attention because there are a few pages. You are going to learn more about point of view. Who is writing the story? From whose viewpoints is the story told? Characterization gives you a good idea about what characters are like. For example, their feeling, their actions, their personality traits. Stories often contain conflict, that is, the characters have a problem that they have to deal with. Let's look at key features of a poem. Poets create word pictures for us and they often engage all our senses so that we can imagine feeling, touching, hearing, tasting, or seeing a scene. The poet creates a mood, atmosphere by using various techniques such as imaginary, mental picture in which one object is compared with another. The mood of the poem is the feeling that the poet creates by using his or her words. This mood often communicates a message or a theme to the reader. The reader will ask what the poem is really about. It is important to understand figurative meaning in a poem, where poets use figures of speech such as metaphors and simile to stress their meaning. External features of a poem are also important. The poets can use different stanzas and standard lengths. Poets experiment with different typography, the setting and arranging of the typeface, for example, Times New Roman or Calibri. The printing matter looks different in various poems.